We can actually play on the whole world once we get out of our initial foray into shipping in the campaign. In the start, we are just operating in North America. Each of the ports, I'll zoom in because you have a zoom wheel, has a number by it that says how large a ship can fit in the port. Size 1 port, like Havana, can only hold size 1 ships. A size 3 port can have 1, 2, and 3, but size 4 and 5 ships cannot fit. And a size 4 port, like Georgia and Los Angeles, can take the biggest ships. And here we have the Panama Canal. You can read it says, passage permitted for class 1 and 2. So only the smallest ships can go through the Panama Canal unrestricted. Size 3 and 4 ships can receive an upgrade later in the game, which will allow them to pass, but as they come straight from the docks, they cannot go through either. Alright, and we'll continue on there. Now, we did not make a fortune on this trip. We should have made enough successful runs. Since I'm going to do a little quick check on the status. Since our objective was 1 and 2, our next objective is to make money in order to be ahead of our rival. More contracts on time is still good, but now we can focus more on making money. I will refuel. Go and look at Manzanilla. Oh, that one is very good, but will have to pay us a penalty. It will still make almost $1 million, even with the penalty. So I will take it as definitely the highest paying choice for our trip. The combination of the other ones going that direction will not make as much money. So I want to commit to either of these ones. That's a little one, but forces me to go to New York afterwards. I might be worthwhile running off that way after. Especially if I take both. Let's take a look at the East Coast. Now before I cast off on the show, we can cast off more than one way. Take a look at our ship there. There's our ship sitting in the dock. Now that it's loaded up, it has cargo containers on top of it. When we click on the ship, we see a range of things we can do with the ship. We can refuel the ship from this menu. We can repair the ship if it needs repair, or does not. We can rename the ship. I'm happy with the name of my ship being Horizon, but we're allowed to do that. And there can be other options there in the campaign if they were available. One of them that would be over here would be to sell the ship. You can only sell a ship that is empty of cargo, and with only one ship operating, we could not afford to actually sell it, so we can't do that in the campaign. This is one of the other points of the menus. We can take a look at the ship status very quickly by clicking on the actual ship sitting in the harbor. I'm going to cast off just to show you the other way we can cast off. We're going to cast off manually. Now, I know I'm wanting to go to Manzanilla, but we could say go to Honolulu, even though we don't have a cargo there. Go to Vancouver. It will tell us where we want to go. We are not going to cast off there because that would be where we want to go. But you're allowed to go to any port, not just the one you have cargo picked for. There we go. Until cast off to Manzanilla. Speed up the game a little bit so we can watch the ship drive. And you'll notice on the map there are 3 regions marked. We made good money there. I'm going to show you a little bit about the various regions. Now, in this segment of the campaign, these are not relevant, but basically it shows you the ports that are contained within those regions. There are 2 of them that have 3 little dots, 3 points of control, and one bigger one that has 5 points of control. So I'm going to click on it to show some information. Now here, we can't do anything. Eventually at some point we can say who has dominance in this region. Now we have 51 RP, that's region points, that you earn by carrying cargo in the region. We can't see the region points for the various cargoes, and they're not relevant to this part of the campaign. But when they are, one of the things you'll have to make as a choice is do you take the cargoes that pay you more RP or more money? Because they're not always the same thing. Our competitor is ahead of us, which would matter if we were worried about competing for control of the region in this campaign, but we're not. We are ahead down here, and of course nobody has any points in the East Coast because no one has made it there. It's kind of like a Monopoly game where you try and get control of the region. If you take control of all the locations, then you have dominance in the region. You are dominating it. If you take control of the majority, in this case 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 5, that gives you some benefits in the competitive game, and also locks out your competitor. Owning the control of the facilities in the ports also gives you money from the businesses, which is another way that you make money. Let's see, we paid some penalties going into Manzanilla. I'm going to take a look at what we did. But all in all, we still made good profit. Alrighty, let's see what we got in Manzanilla. Ooh, we have a penalty but high-paying cargo to Havana. We're already committed to going to New York, so I'm certainly going to consider doing that. Now, taking penalty cargoes, which I am going to do, because basically I'm going to commit to Havana, and yeah, now that one is going to have 10 days of penalty, which would eat up a huge amount of that bonus, even though it pays really well. I'm willing to give up a couple days worth of bonus on that one. If you want to allow me to drive to New Orleans, I think that will make this one run later, even though that's not a bad trip either, but I think I'm going to skip it. Now let's say we had accidentally clicked on this one here. I'm not going to do that. One of the things you can do if you decide that a contract is going to have too high a penalty, or you don't want to go that direction, you can pay to cancel it. It costs you money, which you don't want to do if you can avoid it, but sometimes the cost can be less than the penalty for failing the contract. I'm going to refuel here and head out. I'll want to watch how our ship is going, because we are going to travel through the Panama Canal. Here we are in Havana. Made good money this time. And what were our penalties? 300,000. Quite acceptable. There's our ship in the port. Havana is a very nice looking little tropical place. That is quite a nice scene. Let's take a look at here. Well, I'm going to refuel because we need fuel. Price is nice low here in Havana, so I'm quite content with that. We're going to take penalties on both trips to New York, so I'm going to pick New York as my priority first place to go. But running to Georgia is on the way, so I think I'm going to hit one of those as well. Now let's look further down. Continue up north to Nuuk, Greenland, or leave my options open. I think I'm going to leave my options open because I know I'm going up to Georgia and New York. We have 2 penalty contracts. Hopefully the money will make it worthwhile. Do a little pause and check our victory conditions. Okay, making money. We are ahead of our opponent on contracts. We've done our contracts on time. The last objective is to try and make more money than our competitor. We have 83 days to do it in. Probably can manage it. That's not a huge amount of money for one particular delivery. On the other hand, we should be pretty good. Now, because we have penalty contracts, short deadline contracts to New York, I'm going to basically take everything back up to New York, and then have to think, do I want to commit to going further north? And I think I will, because basically we'll run up the coast north, and then possibly back south again. See what we get for our good luck. Fuel, run to New York. It's only 2 days. It's not going to take very long. And you can actually stay sitting in the port and let the time advance. I'm going to show you this. Now you can't see where your ship is going, but they'll say, there we are in port, and we can click on it, see what it is, go to the port, we'll go to New York. Now we made a good amount of money on that one. Oh, look at that. You can see the Statue of Liberty. That looks quite nice. So here we are in New York. Refuel. We're going to Halifax because we committed to going that direction. So I'm going to click on those so I know that's where we're going. Now, the next choice is going to be a little more complicated. Do I run up to Nook, explore the northern waters, or do I commit to going up there and then back south? Now here I can see that I have a good range of things down to New Orleans. It's a good bit of money for that trip. But I think I'm going to see what the northern world looks like. We may pick up more contracts as we go up to Halifax, in which case that wouldn't be bad at all. So here we are in Halifax, Canada. I'm going to fuel up. I'm going to fuel up just about every place we hit. Alright, so we have Nuuk and Quebec. I'm going to hit those two. Commit to going back to New York. Certainly going to head back down the coast eventually. I know we're going to take that all the way to Nuuk and then back, but I think it'll be alright. We have plenty of time to make it. Now, as I said, there are 3 different kinds of ships, classes. The container ships, the one that we're using right now, carry, box cargo, and each type of ship has its own kind of cargo that it carries. Now, bulk ships, cargoes pay the least amount of money for, but you get more RP for delivering them, which makes them very good for serving your customers, makes your customers happy. I think it's all that'll fit. A little one down in Georgia. So I'm going to be confident I'm going to go down the coast. That is interesting. Now, here's an interesting element of the game. New York is the closest port to go to. So the default selection for the destination is New York. However, I want to go up to Nuuk and then back, which means I have to go select it as my destination instead. There we go. We're going up to Nuuk instead of going to New York first. So we're going to go this way, then come back, then back to New York. Now, say, container ships are in the middle class as far as things. Their cargoes pay pretty decent, but get less RP than bulk ships. And the tanker ships get the most amount of money for their cargoes, but the least amount of RP. So each type of ship has its own role, and they also have their own separate sets of cargo in the ports, so that they don't compete against each other. If you take 2 ships in at the same port at the same time, they're going to have the same list of potential cargoes to transport. I'll be happy to go to Halifax again. New York, so I'm going that way. And do I want to go to New Orleans as well? These are little, so I think I'll take that one and head on down south. Of the three classes of ships, bulk ships are the cheapest. So you're able to get more, more of them for the money. They're easier to buy early on. Container ships are middle range of prices. Tankers are the most expensive. This also basically means that you need more money to invest in a tanker fleet than you do in a bulk ship or container ship fleet. Having all three kinds of ships means you get the widest variety of cargo out of each port and gives you the most range of choices. In our case, we only have one ship and we're not buying another one. But the container ships are actually one of the more flexible ones because there's a lot of ports that are happy having, different kinds of container cargo that pay well. So here we are. We have a very short time limit, high pay run to New York. Since that's the only one that fits, I'm not going to worry about the fact that there's another one down to New Orleans. But this should help us make money. And here we go.